Hey! Good morning. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And we welcome a great crowd here at 501 Nelson Street, live, not online, but live. Hello to everybody that's here on Zoom, and welcome to those that might watch us a little later on our YouTube channel. We are so grateful that everyone has shown up and come to participate. So you probably have one of these devices nearby. We would greatly appreciate it if you would put it on silent mode. Feel free to check in on Facebook and let them know you're here at Unity and that they're welcome to join us every Sunday, be part of our family. And so at Unity we have our vision statement, and Unity of London shares the same vision as almost all of the Unities worldwide. And anyone new to Unity, it is a worldwide movement. And I believe the greatest concentration of Unity centers is in Nigeria. Fun fact. How did Nigeria become so involved in Unity? Well, way back in the beginning day, Charles and Myrtle would do a radio show. And the people in Nigeria could tune into that radio show. So, cool fun fact. But let's affirm the vision that we all see. We see a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And how will we do that? Well, with our Lorraine, won't work. Not working. Oh, now it's working, and then we went ahead too far. Okay, our mission. And let's affirm our mission. Co-creating with Spirit to transform lives through shared spiritual awakening. And how do we do that? Well, by being a loving, inclusive, supportive community. We know that we are all one. It's our egos and our error beliefs and our fears that separate us. And also, we promote self-expression. We truly love each person as they are. We all have room for improvement. But the improvement is really about letting more of me or you letting more of you shine through. Getting rid of some of the stuff that has brought darkness to your light and shine on bright. So be yourself. Be the best you can be. And our 5 principles. The principle number 1 is that there is only one power active in the universe and in my life, and that is God, and God is good. Our essence is of God, therefore each and every one of us are inherently good. Even the people that you think aren't, they are. This God essence called the Christ was fully expressed in Jesus, our way shower. Each and every one of us, are co-creators with God, creating reality through our thoughts held in mind. So when things happen and occur, it's like, did I really order this up on purpose? And by focusing and through prayer meditation, we can align our heart mind with God and focus on what is good and co-create a good life. We use denials and affirmations as tools. And principle number 5, it's not enough to know the principles, but it's to live the principles through our thoughts, words, and actions. We live the truth that we know. I feel my hands are very busy this morning. And also we inspire people to make a positive difference in the world. Often what we would like to see changed might be mirroring something back to us. Be the change that you would like to see. It is only ourselves that we have any sort of control over. And by providing fellowship and education for spiritual seekers of all walks of life, we can coexist in peace. And our special announcements today, the condo lottery. Wow, what a success! $6,200 for our music and guest speaker program. That is awesome. We are all very blessed. And I don't know if is Sylvia on Zoom this morning, Lorraine? No? Well, she's probably packing. But We are truly all so very pleased that Sylvia Square won the condo for the week with the kayaks. And I know the rest of us are a little sad for ourselves, but yes, she was truly excited. If you weren't here last week when we phoned her to let her know, she truly showed her excitement through her voice. So, but we sold 352 tickets. I sold 70. Teresa sold 50. Chuck and Suzanne 39, and Chris 33. That's a total of 192 for 54% of the tickets. But if you only sold one ticket or you only bought one ticket, you're just as great as the rest of us. It's so awesome that we can every year have this great fundraiser, and it's fun, and we love it. And thank you everybody for participating. Next slide, please. The fish group is meeting again. It'll be on May the 26th, so that's the last Sunday of the month. And this month, a reminder, they're making affirmation towels. The towels will be provided. I believe what you need to bring is your affirmation. And if you'd like any information on that, talk to Amber or some of the other ladies from the that are leading the fish group. And fish, just as a reminder, it's fellowship, imagination, sharing, and happiness. So you can be a fish too. Wednesday night music nights. Every Wednesday night now from 8 till 9:30, Jim is bringing us some great music. And this Wednesday, Kevin Bacon's Train. Now, that's enough to get you excited and just curious to see what it is. But the Trill Sisters, Pete Denemy, that used to have the London Music Club, Rodney Perkins, and again, it's only $10. Lots of great music for a few bucks, and you can e-transfer to Jim Chapman at rogers.com, or just show up with your $10 and pay at the door. And this Sunday is Celebration Sunday, so we will take time to see what everybody's celebrating in the month of May. And prayer with a prayer chaplain. So here, for anyone in the building that would like individual one-on-one prayer with a prayer chaplain following the service, Dawn will be happy to meet you in the prayer room, which most people know is right behind the screen, but you take the orange steps up, and online we have our lovely Wilda. And Mr. Jim, you're back up again. And so that we have the right song with the right words, what are you singing this time? Baby?
I like the way you did that. That was good. Do that again.
What are you singing this time? Baby?
I am not sure. Oh, yes.
In the garden. All right.
I have to make an announcement, too, and it's not a happy but I have to, it certainly should be noted. Jake Levesque passed this week.
I will be talking about it during prayer. That's okay. That's okay. It will.
Jake meant an awful lot to me and so many other people, not only in the community, but throughout the London music community. All right. Let me do something that I have not done before, and I think I've been playing here for about 6 years on and off. I've never done a hymn, just a regular old standard hymn. And I want to do one today for a particular reason. The message of, as Pauline pointed out, the message is not 100% aligned with the unity, but it's a very positive message. But I want to do this because today is Mother's Day, and this was my mother's favorite song, favorite hymn. And she was an organist, and I grew up in a home full of, surrounded by hymns and sacred music and so on. So this was her favorite one, and I thought, if you don't mind, I'd like to just share this with you today on Mother's Day. And the added advantage of this is I'm sure almost everybody here can and probably will sing along. I come to the garden alone.
The dew is still on the roses.
Thank you falling on my ear, the Son of
God discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks me, tells me I am his
He
own,
walks with me and he talks
walks
with
with me, tells me I am his own.
Couldn't hear you, Jim.
Prayer angels pray over those people for 30 days here, and then they're sent on to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for another 30 days. And speaking of Silent Unity, it started with writing letters, but now it's a telephone call. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there is a group of people waiting up in the tower at Unity Village, waiting for people to call for prayer. So if you yourself are looking for prayer at any time, or you know someone that's going through a challenging time, feeling very troubled and maybe would like some prayer, suggest that they call 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And so we'll go into prayer. I invite you to become comfortable in your chair. Just take a nice deep breath, breathing in all the love in the room. And as you exhale, imagine that love growing. Let your shoulders relax. Let go of the busyness of the morning. Take no mind of what's going on after service today. Just be here and the now. And in our prayer circle, we certainly include all of our members from Unity of London. This month we hold Unity Spiritual Center Windsor and the Canadian Unity Ministers in our prayer. And as Jim mentioned, we also hold Julia Webb and Jake Levesque in our prayer. I'm going to share what Julia posted yesterday on Zoom, or not on Zoom, on Facebook, and I want it to be part of our prayer. Late yesterday morning, so on Friday morning, wrapped in Julia's arms, so gently and peacefully, her beautiful Jake passed. I read him all your comments, messages, and emails through the week. Thank you all for warming him with your love. And although he'd tell you that love alone isn't always going to solve everything, he'd say, if in doubt, do something loving. Love works. Love takes practice. Love is possible every time. So she says, please do something loving for someone in his honor. And we will come together to celebrate him at a later date. So we'll take a few moments of silence and think about the love that Jake provided us for all those years with his music. We know he had a peaceful transition. He's playing and dancing and singing along with all the great musicians up in heaven or wherever we go on the other side of the veil. And he'll forever be in our hearts. And so in honor of Jake, this week, let's all do many loving kindness acts. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And now we have our wonderful Dawn Briglow, our platform assistant today, coming to read from today's Daily Word.
Today's daily word is entitled Mother's Blessing. I honor and bless the world's mothers. Today I offer a blessing of gratitude for the loving, nurturing spirit of mothers. I bless my mother and those who have shared a mother's love by supporting me throughout my life. I think of the many ways they've been present for me over the years, with unconditional acceptance and love. I envision all mothers, grandmothers, and caregivers throughout the world surrounded by love and light. For those in my life, I take time to express my appreciation with words, gifts, and time together. To mothers-to-be, I prayerfully affirm health and ever-deepening joy. To mothers no longer in this world, I hold them in loving prayer and hold thoughts of joy and gratitude. I bless their souls' ongoing journeys, knowing bonds of love keep their memories alive. Her children rise up and call her happy. Proverbs 31, verse 28. Our speaker this morning is no stranger. She's been a devoted, happy member of Unity of London since joining in 2012. Pauline has served on our board of directors. She's been a past president of our board. She's a published author, trainer, and communications and positive living coach. With today's message entitled Communication Power, please join me in welcoming our dear Pauline Duncan-Thrasher.
Thanks, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dawn, and welcome to everyone here at 501 Nelson, to the mothers in the room, to the stepmothers, to the aunts, the sisters, the friends, those who are physical mothers first, because that's, whoa, I cannot imagine it, having never been one myself, but also to those who have been motherly. This message is called Our Power to Communicate. And during the week and the last couple of weeks, I wondered, how can I incorporate the power to communicate on Mother's Day? And it's such a natural. Where do we first build our connection with communication? At birth. Some believe even before birth, that we learn how to interact with another human being from our mothers first. Everything we think, say, do, or feel communicates a message. Just consider that. If you're sitting there with your arms like this, It could be it's just a way for you to relax. And someone might misinterpret it, but that's their issue. If you're thinking, I love this day, I love this feeling of celebrating mothers, I love being celebrated as a mother, or giving back to people who have mothered me, that's going to be conveyed. How we feel makes an impact. Now, only Barbara Walters, in her tough repertorial style, could have said this next message. Motherhood is tough. If you just want a wonderful little creature to love, you can get a puppy. Well, we have what many people on the street consider a puppy, even though he's 13, he's small enough. And this is not to diss anybody who has a puppy, because they pee and they poop and they need caring and they need affection. So it's not saying anything about those who love and have a great relationship with their dogs. But it's the human act of mothering that teaches us how to receive and give love. Now, I am not here to say to any of you that all mothers do that beautifully. There may be people here who didn't get the kind of messages from their mother they needed or wanted. I recognize that. On the other hand, mothers do the best they can with what they have in that time space. And we honor them for that. The cherishing, the hugging, the nurturing, the holding hand, those are all forms of communication. And as the child receives that, as the baby receives it, they are learning at some point in their life how to give it. Have you ever had a little child, maybe your child, have something in their hot little hand? Maybe it's a favorite candy, and they reached up and they wanted you to taste it right away. And you thought, maybe quickly through your mind, you thought, oh, I don't think I want to taste that. But you did. That's an act of love. That's the power to communicate, what you give me, I cherish. Whether it's a little wee object, whether it's something important to you or not. I found that a lot as a teacher, especially at the end of the year. And I know Renee will have found that, or anybody else who's taught young children. They will bring you a gift so tenderly wrapped that they put all their heart and soul into, and you accept it with love. You accept it with kindness. This is the power we learn, and we learn to share that power. That's our form of communication. I still have, and I should have brought it, this little wee, I know it probably came from the dollar store, it doesn't matter, I saved it. And it's a little tiny, only about that high, figure of a man and woman. You can tell that they're about to get married. They're sort of like cartoon characters. And it was a gift from one of my grade 7 students when they found out that I was engaged to get married. That meant more to me than a great big silver tray that we never used. Consider the gifts you receive and the gifts you give, and it's absolutely not the monetary value. It's the heart behind the gift. That's communication. Now, I had to include the dogs, again, for this reason. You can see one that's looking quite forlorn. And I shared this before, but I'm going to share it again. Again, in grade 7, I had one of my students who one day assumed, after I asked her to get into line, would you get into line, please? We're getting ready to go. That's all I said, that way. And she took on this look. And she somehow was doing something with her lower lip. And I said, what are you doing? She said, that's my sad puppy dog look. It works with my mother. How many of us have used the sad puppy dog look? And like children, like us, puppies get into mischief. And this little dachshund knows he shouldn't be chewing up the lace, but he's doing it anyway, keeping an eye out to make sure that nobody catches him. Halle Berry, one of our famous singers, shared, for me, motherhood is learning about the strengths I didn't know I had and dealing with the fears I didn't know existed. I'm sure mothers can relate with that, because motherhood is not just putting on an apron and cooking a delicious meal, as our mothers know. All of us know that we need to face fears we never knew existed. And when we see our mothers doing that, or our grandmothers, or aunts, or sisters, or our nieces, or our female friends, facing fears courageously, that's communication. Now, I asked JG, who I met on our very recent trip out west, if I could quote her. Because I had a very long quotation, and it was full of great words. And I sent it to her, and I said, what do you think? And this is what she sent me back. She is a mother who looks like an Amazon. She's probably 6'2", and she traveled with us out west. She recently overcame cancer, had cancer surgery that removed all her lymph nodes. Those of you who are medical know what that might have entailed. And she has 2 grown-up children and 2 stepchildren. And this is what she said about motherhood. The toughest, most rewarding job I've ever had. Wouldn't change it for anything. So a tribute to our mothers. We don't think it's all easy. Mothers in refugee camps who are probably giving their last bit of food to their children, who are scrounging for a place to stay with love. Now, I chose these 2 boys because this is called the power to communicate. And sometimes, though we have all the love in our heart, and I'm now moving into all of us, not just the mothers, it can be hard to communicate. You don't know what someone's thinking. How can we use our power of communication to create a dialogue that is the least path of resistance, to help make dialogue the path of least resistance? You know, when somebody's just not ready to share, we can focus with our heart and right motives. And people know if we're sharing from the heart. They sense it. And they know if we're not out to get them in the dialogue. We're out to help. Look at how others are communicating. And consider your own style under stress. Now, all of these messages come from a wondrous book called Crucial Conversations. We all have a style under stress for communicating. It might be silence. We step way back, and we withdraw from the conversation. Has anybody ever done that? You don't have to put your hands up. Or violence. Now, it's not not that kind of violence. It's the kind of, my 24-year-old granddaughter was standing like this during the celebration of life, often. How might you interpret that? She's tiny as a little rake. And she was standing like this. And I know why. Partly because she shared. She's not being belligerent. She is trying to convey that she's not scared. So before we snap to judgments, when someone stands like that, or when they fold their arms, and one of our Toastmasters, big, tall guy, folds his arms, before we snap to judgments, we need to step back and just think. Think with love. So the violence is more aggressive talk, or trying to bully someone, or just overpower someone. Or maybe stomp your feet and walk away. And we might vary between the different styles. How do we create safety? How do we create a situation where people feel safe to engage in dialogue? And there are a couple of ways we can do that. We can share our mutual purpose. We're in this together. We have a common goal, and just reminding each other of that. We can make sure that we are showing mutual respect. We can contrast for misunderstanding. I don't mean to put you down. I don't mean to say that you're wrong. I do mean that I believe in this strongly. Sharing our facts, just facts, simply and directly. Explaining our story. How do we see this particular situation? Ask for others' facts and stories. Share story as story, not fact. I feel so embarrassed in this particular situation. I just feel as though everybody's looking at me. I know that's not really true. That's an example. It's not me responding to you. Of course, you're looking at me because I'm speaking, but and encourage expression of different views. They don't have to be your views. So think of team gatherings. Think of your own family. Think of interacting with people that maybe just rub you the wrong way and figuring out why. What is my story about this? And what are the facts? And this can't be compressed in 20 minutes, but I'm trying to do it, just so you can take away a bit. Mom and teenage son. Who's ever had a teenage son? Now, I've had stepsons, and one of my stepsons lived with us from the time we got married. And I thought, wow, this is different. And that was just temporary. This mother is no doubt listening more than talking. How can we listen when others blow up or clam up? Have you ever had somebody blow up with you? Again, you don't have to raise your hand. If you live in this world, you probably have. Or clam up. And either one can be devastating. So what can we do? How can we listen? I think this is the most important of today. to stay curious and patient. Does this require you acting like a saint? Probably. Curious and patient when somebody's blowing up at you or when they just do the silent treatment. Acknowledge respectfully the emotions that you sense that person is feeling, and to do that respectfully. Boy, you're really mad, I can tell that. I can tell that whatever I said or did is causing you to feel really angry right now. Or I can see that you feel hurt. I'm sensing that you feel very uncomfortable with the situation. Paraphrase to be sure you're on the same track. You might be way off on another track, and it might not even be what they're thinking or how they're feeling. So make sure that you are on the right track. Guess gently if someone seems to be holding back. And I added the word gently on purpose. If somebody's reluctant to share, you can't get a can opener and pry it out of them, because that will just make them more reluctant. Sometimes just the act of listening, that quiet, patient listening and being curious. When you share views, agree. When you don't agree, let them know that you respect their view. And I had shared when I create these summaries like a month ahead, I shared that I would be sharing spiritual leaders. I couldn't find a picture of Jesus that I liked, and I wanted to go into the prayer room and drag out the picture in there because I like it way better than this one. But just imagine Jesus before you look at these two pictures. Imagine how Jesus communicated. He communicated powerfully, gently, lovingly, consistently, often with a smile. I love the Dalai Lama's face. I've never seen the 14th Dalai Lama without a smile, ever. And think of all that he's gone through. His message is about peace, love, and understanding. He epitomizes that. What do you want your message to be about? And how can you communicate that message? Deepak Chopra, I almost took out to put in someone else. He's been highly successful, both as a businessman and as an author. But his 7 Spiritual Laws of Success are a wonderful book. If you haven't read it, you might want to look at it. It talks about mind-body healing. Now look at that face, the one of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, who created an art of living foundation and challenged people on social media to be nonviolent, to share nonviolent messages. And he looked so peaceful, so positive. And the intense Eckhart Tolle, who's one of my favorite authors. Now, when he speaks, he uses that same intensity. But if you haven't read The Power of Now, I urge you to read it. Transforming Human Consciousness. And Don Miguel Ruiz, who's had the 4 agreements. Oh, a lot of us here at Unity of London. I know that Rev Laurie brought it to us at our prayer chaplain training. You remember, Sylvia? I think that was 2013 or 14. And in his 4 agreements, he talks about the ones we make with ourselves. We tell ourselves who we are. So that most powerful communication of all is, what do we tell ourselves about ourselves? How to behave, what is possible, what is impossible. Are you putting limits on your possibilities when you communicate with yourself? The most pertinent of those two agreements for me personally is don't take anything personally. How often do we do that? Someone has a look on their face, and we think, oh, they don't like my message, or, oh, they don't like me, or, ooh, is something wrong with what I'm wearing? And could be something totally, probably something totally has nothing to do with you, because everybody has a life. And everybody brings their life's challenges when they're together. I was at a 50th wedding anniversary yesterday, a wondrous occasion. And there were people chatting, and there were people sort of standing back, as you see in any gathering. And there was one young man who was past division director in Toastmasters. That's quite a responsible role. But I could tell how shy he was. You know, when someone's sort of standing there in the same spot for 1 hour, not venturing any farther out of the kitchen. And meantime, there were probably 60 people in other rooms in the house. And finally, he shared, after some encouragement, that he was being really careful about sugar because his mother is a diabetic, and so he's giving up sugar. And this is why he wasn't going into the other room taking one of multiple cupcakes. I thought, that's love. That's kindness. And don't make assumptions. Chapter 3. We communicate most powerfully when we're aware if we're making assumptions. The power of mother communication again. Or it could be, I know it's Mother's Day, it could be a dad or an uncle just comforting a child who's feeling upset. Or a friend who's feeling upset. And then taking time to just sit quietly, listen. That is comfort. Mothers worldwide, we embrace them today. We cherish them. Mothers and daughters, sons and daughters. And I wanted to, just before the final conclusion, give reference to Mother Teresa, who was never a physical mother, but certainly a spiritual mother to many. And I would like us to read this together. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile. Peace begins with a smile. And I know this is true. There is a lady sitting beside me on her way back from the West Coast from India. She had nothing to read. I knew that. And I knew when she got up, she came to about here on me. Tiny, tiny woman. And so I greeted her and I smiled. And I was reading a mystery book. And I could see that she was kind of looking over at my book, and I thought, I don't know if I want her to see some of the violent parts of this mystery book. So I closed the book, and then I picked out my daily word. I also wanted to review the daily word for Sunday. And there's a beautiful message in the front. If you want to see it, there might still be some May, June daily words in the bookstore. And it was a beautiful message about how everybody in the world is part of one. So I had the little shelf down. We're on flare, which is very cramped. But I put the shelf down, I put the book on it, and I just moved it so that she could see it without saying, here, see it. And I could tell that, you can tell if somebody's sort of looking sideways. I could tell she was reading it. So then I opened to another page that happened to be about courage. And again, I could tell that she was reading it. So then I said, would you like to read it? And she said yes. Before I knew it, she had out her cell phone and she said, is it all right? And she took a picture of everything in the book, including the back page, which was the pricing page, how to order it. This all started with a smile. My smile. And her smile. When we got up to leave, you know how people stand up and they're all ready to barge down the aisle. So Dan got up first to get the suitcase down, and then I got out, and I stood back. Right behind me is this big looming guy all ready to roar down the aisle. And the lady, I think her name is Sweetie. And I said, oh, that's a perfect name. But then I was mispronouncing it wrong, so we'll call her Sweetie. She wanted me to she said, no, it's okay. I said, you need to get out because you'll get barged on. So anyway, I stood there, and so she came out. We walked through together. She gave me this huge hug before she left, a kiss on the cheek, and she was waiting to see her daughter. This was her first trip from India in 5 years. I'm not saying this so you think I'm great. I'm saying it so you will know that your power of a smile can make a huge difference, and you never know where. We always talk about the grocery store and truth there too. But how many people smile in an airplane? How many people smile in Costco? Nothing against Costco, but Dan and I went in yesterday, and we were only getting one item, and I thought, yay! We had no cart, we just marched along, and I must have had a big smile on my face because this man coming along looked sort of astonished, and then he smiled. He didn't think I was flirting with him. That's not it. Just in case you thought that. So remember to smile. And final slide. What is more fun than just flying a kite, letting the flight go up into the air? And I would like us to affirm this out loud and to take this message away with you this week. Today I affirm this choice out loud. Ready, go. I celebrate and enjoy my power to communicate with joy, with laughter, with spontaneity, with mutual love, and with a smile. And a lot of you already do that. That's why we're here. Let us now go into meditation. We breathe in this moment. Breathe in our opportunity to relax, to be peaceful, to embrace the harmony, the love, the generosity that is in this room, in these wondrous people at Unity of London. We absorb our positive energy in this room. And as we fill ourselves with that positive energy, as though we're nourishing our spiritual well, we just relax and continue to breathe in and breathe out. Filled with divine presence. Filled with the joy of being. We'll take a few moments and I'll let you know when our time is fulfilled. for our joy, for our love, for our power to communicate. We are truly grateful. And so it is, and so we let it be.
Thank you so much, Pauline, for a great talk on how to have great conversation, and at the essence of it, as long as it's love and peace and understanding, it all works out quite lovely. And some great quotes. Thank you so much. And I believe we're up for another song, Jim.
Pauline, you did it to me again. Every time I'm blessed and well blessed to hear Pauline speak, she touches something in me. I don't know how she does that. I needed to hear your message today, so thank you. Mother's Day for me is a special day because I had 3 mothers. I was very lucky that way. I had my birth mother, who remained my mother until she passed. By the time I was a young teenager, my sister was an adult, my older sister, and she became my mother at times as well. There were some things that I needed a mother's guidance on, but my mother was not the right one to talk to about that, so I had my sister, and I was blessed there, and then I got married, and I got a mother-in-law who didn't like me at all. But that changed as time went by, and she and I developed a very warm and loving relationship, and I'm indebted to all 3 of them for, I guess, making me the person I am today. And the one thing they shared, and what I'm leading up to here, the one thing they shared was commitment. They were all good communicators too, but they all shared commitment. So I was trying to think, is there a song I could do to honor them? And then, yeah, there's a song that I wrote a while ago, and I played here. And it's called I'm Going All Out and Going All In. And all 3 of them were like that, are like that. My sister's the only one left, but they were like that. When they committed to doing something, they put everything they had into it. And I hope I learned that lesson. The message certainly is the way I am. But this is a little tune for all of them. And you're welcome to clap along or sing along at the appropriate spots. I think it's all the same. Doesn't matter. On my page, it shows the sing-along parts are highlighted, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, this is a tune called I'm Going All Out. Every morning I lie in bed thinking what I'm gonna do. I don't take too long, 'cause time is short. I have a lot to get through. I want to be a better person than the one I was before. I like to give each day the most I have, 'cause less is never more. I'm going all out. I'm going all in. Making the most of where I'm heading and where I've been. I'm going all out. Going all in. There's a new gift that we receive each and every day. Our slate is clean, the future's ours if we look at life that way. We have the chance to choose the good or bad that comes along. But when I need some reminding, I just sing this simple song. I'm going all out. I'm going all in. Making the most of where I'm heading and where I've been. I'm going all out. I'm going all in. Always seems so much to do. We cannot turn away. So set your course and mount your horse and go and seize the day. Life's a gift we don't deserve if we choose to just mark time. Live the best life you can build and remember these simple lines. I'm going all out. I'm going all in. I'm making the most of where I'm heading and where I've been. I'm going all out. I'm going all in. Oh, I'm going all out. I'm going all in. I'm going all out. I'm going all in. Words to live by.
Great words to live by, Jim. Thank you. And now we come to the time where we thank those who have shared their talents and time during the week and their treasures. We give those an opportunity that would like to share some of their treasures today. And the ladies will go around with the offering bags. And remember, you can always give your offering by check, by MasterCard, Visa, or debit in the bookstore. Use the Tithely site or e-transfer to unityoflondon@hotmail.com. My screen keeps going out. That's okay. We got a big one. I think I know what I'm doing. Pretty close. Sometimes I do have to go, what's next? So let's bless our offering. So divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. And now we have our prayer for protection. And we'll affirm this together. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. And the power of God protects me. I am the power. And the presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And our peace song. So as you go about your week, communicate with love. And remember, it's Celebration Sunday.
Yeah, it is Celebration Sunday, and those of you who remember back when Jake was serving us, acknowledge Jake again. He always used to do a little special music for Celebration Sunday, and I thought we haven't been doing that, and it's time that we did. So, very, very simple. You're going to be able to sing along, and it's just, we're just going to have a little fun. Sunday morning, and we're together. We know we're on our way to be the best that we can be. Go out and seize the day. The future is unfolding, and we Celebrate the week ahead that waits for you and me. Celebrate the family that unity provides. Celebrate the strength and purpose running through our lives. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Come on, everybody, let's celebrate.
All right.
So what do we have to celebrate today?
I don't know, Jim. What do we have to celebrate? Amber. Come on out to, oh, sorry, hon. Okay, a little to the center so people can see on Zoom. There you go.
Okay, when I'm celebrating, first of all, I'm celebrating Jake Levesque. Celebrating him. He was phenomenal, is phenomenal. I'm also wanting to plug the fish group. If you have an affirmation and a plan to attend, next week will be the last week that you have to get your affirmation to me, because there is preparation in having me have it ready in a kit for you that day. So if you're planning on attending, get an affirmation ready, get it to me, and I'll have it all set. I'm also wanting to say thank you to Jim. What he did for me is very touching, and I know he didn't do it just